Hello, everybody. It's meteorologist Hutch Johnson joining you. Live storm coverage on this Monday night as severe thunderstorms head into southern Minnesota. There's an increased risk of some very damaging straight line winds. You can see the backwards C shape to this. In this update, we'll answer your questions. We'll talk about the rest of the setup to the night, including do we have to worry anymore in Fargo or Grand Forks? The details coming up on this version of Hutch's Weather. Stay tuned. Real quickly, my friends at Robert Gibbons Sons want to let you know that if you upgrade to a heating and cooling system from them, they are carriers of Bryant systems, whatever it takes. Comes with a guaranteed warranty, 10-year parts, 3 years labor. Here's a look at our weather. Thanks to my fine sponsors. Thanks to you for watching. And if you have a question, let me know. Otherwise, we do have wild weather going on across the region. A couple of funnel cloud sightings in South Dakota. A line of severe thunderstorms that have worked their way out of the Richland County area and also Roberts County, South Dakota, pushing in towards the Morris area right now, Alexandria, and the Douglas County area and points south. This line capable of some gusty straight line winds, and there have been some hail reports as well. So south of the Gwinner area, Cayuga, by only 5 miles, 1¼ inch diameter hail out there, and the photo showing that as well. Also 6 miles south of Genesee, we have 1 inch diameter hail, and basically Lodge Hotel resulted in public observing mostly pea to nickel size hail with a few quarters involved in that as well. Also in Roberts County, just north of Victor out there, almost 1 inch diameter hail being reported there, and we did see 1 inch diameter hail just on the city of New Effington a little bit ago. Now, where is that hail heading right now? Barrie and points south, Graceville points south, Johnson, Chokio, as well as the Alberta area. Seeing those. Corey, thanks for joining in Grand Forks, North Dakota. Chris's Electronic Repair Shop. How about Fargo Moorhead? It does look like that main risk, that main line has developed just off to the east of us, meaning the risk for severe storms right now pretty quiet. Let's get started with a look at these storms, and let's go over the active warning right now. South Assistant and parts of the Roberts County area, considerable damage threat from this storm, 1 inch hail potential, but 70-mile-per-hour winds have been observed with this. A.A. Dolan, thank you very, very much. Feel safe knowing you're watching the area. I appreciate that. Been out camping a little bit, so my coverage and basically any of my cell reception was pretty bleak, to say the least. But that said, it was a nice break, and thanks for your patience with that. Down near Britain, South Dakota, 1 inch hail. Down near Sisseton, 1 inch hail. And a storm that may move north of Redfield produced numerous reports of 1 inch hail. But look at that, 1.8 inches, 2 miles east of Chelsea. How about 3.5 inch hail? That's ridiculous hail right there with active tornado warnings south of the I-90 corridor. And the Mitchell corn maze out there seeing a chance for some severe storms working their way through. We'll cover all this in detail. Let's go to that forecast, all important details on what you need to know with regards to where these storms are now and where they're heading. And does Fargo need to worry? Does Grand Forks need to worry? Thanks for checking in. Victoria, rain, lightning, and really loud thunder in Browns Valley. Thankfully, no wind or hail. Now, this model just coming out now showing the next few hours, this storm racing across central and southern Minnesota along and south of Interstate 94 as we go in towards Hutchinson and also the western part of the metro area, chance for a line of thunderstorms here, and in southwesternmost parts of Minnesota, a chance for those storms to rumble. Other than that, look at Fargo, looking very quiet. Now let's take a look at another model here and see how this forecast pans out for the overnight. Here's the storm. This model has more robust activity developing as we cross basically into the next hour across Minnesota. We'll see if that happens. Otherwise, the position of the low pretty close to what the other model was showing. This moves into the Twin Cities, Duluth area, and racing towards northern and central and even southern portions of Wisconsin for you tonight. And the time frame on this is 5Z. This is midnight. So when the clock strikes midnight, these storms will be on the prowl. Okay, Kayla, sirens going off in Millbank, South Dakota. Thank you for that. And stay safe. You'll want to make sure that you're seeking shelter from these storms. So the bottom line is Grand Forks, Fargo, we are done with that severe weather risk. Let's go to the watches and warnings right now from the National Weather Service and the Storm Prediction Center. And Shazam, let's see here. Yes, making sure we're going to see the clock on this, and I'm going to try to get this put up here for you. Now, it is 7:12, and I want to take off all of these warnings that I had up here from the last time. I just got home from the road and wanted to fire up right away. So these yellow counties that you see in the southern half of Minnesota is a severe thunderstorm watch. Now, the watch for the Wilmer area, the St. Cloud area, and also those of you in Todd County and Douglas County here, it's in effect for the next 5 hours. Now, this is in effect until 1 a.m. 65-mile-per-hour wind gusts and 1-inch diameter hail will be possible in this area. And take a look at this line of storms. Now, in South Dakota here, it's also a severe thunderstorm watch. A severe thunderstorm watch is in effect for the next 2 hours for the I-29 corridor in South Dakota. Reading this with you, you can see that this is in effect until 10 p.m. Central Time. The primary threats include wind damage, significant gusts to 90 miles per hour. Isolated, very large hail events have already happened to 2.5 inches. We've got 3.5 inches that have been reported already. So storm watch does continue there and into parts of northern and western Iowa, as well as parts of northern Nebraska, where we have those tornado warnings in effect from those storms there. Look at Montana, the central part of the state, seeing anything from flash flood warning or flood advisories, for the next hour or so. As you look in on areas just off to the north of the big snowy mountains out there in the wilderness area. So round up Montana, a storm heading in your general direction, a severe thunderstorm watch in the prairies of northern and central Montana for the next 2 hours and 45 minutes. And this is effective until 9 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. Scattered large hail to 2.5 inches possible and 70-mile-per-hour gusts possible. So that is a look at what's going on now. We've looked at the forecast. Let me address your questions. BA, thank you so much for your question. I saw it. A little nervous tonight. Let me show you what I'm thinking with this and what we're thinking about for tonight as these go and work their way along and south of the interstate corridor. So we'll get out of Montana here and we'll head on over to Minnesota, where the action is right now, over the Morris area, heading in on Benson and Madison, also towards Appleton. This cluster of strong thunderstorms is already taking on this backward C shape. Now, the wind gusts with these particular storms, with their movement being off to the east, will be from the west northwest. So if you are in Glenwood and other Alexandria, southern Douglas County, along and south of Interstate 94, these storms are going to have that potential for some ridiculous winds out here along this boundary. And also, do note this, there is no severe thunderstorm warning for these cells yet. The National Weather Service office that handles you for the Farwell area and the Glenwood area, as well as the Alexandria area, is in Twin Cities. Basically, this is a hail-producing cell in the Farwell area right now. And as we take a look at the risk for hail on this particular storm, the radar is estimating it'll take a second to populate a couple of these puppies out here, but some of these cells will be capable of nearly 1-inch diameter hail. Here we go. So as this is getting loaded in, the data, you can see here this Chokio storm, as well as the Morris area, seeing some movement that's basically off to the east at about a clip of 38 miles per hour from this. Gusts to around 40 or 50 miles per hour will be possible in places like Hancock, Starbuck, Glenwood, as well as Cyrus and the Minnewaska area, Lake Minnewaska, and the Glacial Lakes State Park. So keep that in mind if you happen to be still camping like Hutch was this morning. The winds that will be capable from these storms tonight, or possible, could really quickly evolve into quite a wind event. Now, we haven't gotten a lot of wind reports from these storms. We did get this one confirmed 70-mile-per-hour measurement for the storm making its way into the Millbank area. But what we do have in and around Alexandria is a good look down the interstate from the DOT cam. So I'm going to take you there right now. Hutch's Weather, trying to utilize all the tools to keep you ahead of the game here. You can find more details on hutchesweather.com, by the way, as well, throughout the day. And if you let hutchesweather.com follow your location of your device, it'll let you know whether it's a watch or a warning in your area. So as we sneak down into the Alexandria area, we do have approaching storms. Let's go down to the camera here, not far from Lake Lakota. Let's go ahead and see if we can see what's going on here. We got the truck stop, and it looks like a camera not working there. Okay, let's try our luck with this one. Okay, so we got a gully washer of a rain event going on right now as we go out toward the I-94 area. And it looks like eastbound lane is what the DOT says this camera is looking. So that's the eastbound lane there. You're looking off to the east. There is another look at that truck stop there as we work our way through. So that is the Lake Lakota rest area from the DOT camera out there in Minnesota. Let me see if I can effort any other camera views from this here. Pardon me while I Go ahead and reload that map up one more time here. Okay, there we go. Okay, so now as we take a look from other cameras down south here, there's severe thunderstorm, or strong thunderstorms and a severe thunderstorm down here. As we go in towards the Ortonville area, look at the gully washer there. You can barely see the side of the road from the rain beating off the streets there. And as you take a look in other directions, this is from that Ortonville area as well. Look at this low-hanging cloud that's right here. This is Ortonville, milepost 132.7 on US 75 out there. And as you take a look at the view on that particular puppy, let me go ahead and, whoopsie, let me go there. I'm going to expand the view on this because there's more on this camera than you can see. You can see this low cloud base where there's no rain. That's the updraft part of the storm. On the backside there, you're looking at some pretty heavy rain making its way down on the backside. Jana, thank you for watching from Lake Lakota. Holly, thank you for your appreciation by sending stars. I do appreciate it. Kay, thunderstorms in Fergus Falls. Let's get to that area on the DOT camera because we definitely do have several in the area in and around Fergus Falls. I'm going to go down just south a little bit as we look into the Fergus Falls area, and it looks like the rain has moved through with the sun out to the west as you look out and peer towards the Fargo or FM area. As we go down to the south just a little bit, I do know we have some Graceville storms. Let's see if we can get a view of these puppies as we're looking at the Graceville site there. This is on milepost 19 on the Highway 28. So some soggy fields out there taking place. Very heavy or torrential rainfall going on right now. So as far as the storm reports go, we're faring okay just at this particular time, with a large hail being the main threat so far with these storms in northeast South Dakota and southeast North Dakota. In North Dakota, the storms are out of here, and that's kind of a good sign for us as we take a look at our risk of storms shifting off into Minnesota. But southern Minnesota, we do have a concern tonight for a few of these storms really piping up with their potential for wind as we go into the late night hours here. So we'll keep that in mind for you folks. Let me see. Is Watt Breck out of the possible derecho threat? It looks like most of the storms have exited your particular area here. So I'm going to say the way Hutch is looking at things right now, it does look like we're in pretty good shape in the Wahpeton-Breckenridge area. What's a derecho? The talk earlier was that tonight's storm is going to bring a risk of what we would call a derecho. A derecho is a wind event that lasts for hundreds of miles. So these develop and then move and blow, and they can last for several hundred miles, 300, 400, 500 miles of damaging straight line winds. Many of the models last night were showing a backward C-shape bowing into southern portions of Minnesota and northern and central portions of Iowa. But as we take a look at the latest models here, you see the line of thunderstorms extends from just south of the Brainerd Lakes area, right through the eastern third of South Dakota. Hello, Josh. It's Weather. Good to have you on board. Thanks for watching. Just going to ask about your camera. Let's go ahead and see. What about Badette? Thanks very much. I appreciate you asking. Up in the Northland right now, things are quieting down. That's where Hutch spent a little bit of time camping. So there are some showers and thunderstorms exiting through the rainy lake area as you go out towards Thunder Bay. Another round coming out of Montana for later. Let's go ahead and answer your questions here real quickly. Tonight will be my third derecho since 2020. Wow, 2 in Iowa. Let's see if it turns into a derecho there, BA. I'm not certain that that's going to be the case yet. I don't want to call it that right now. The wind threat hasn't evolved. If we do go back to these models one more time, let's go ahead and take a look at what they're saying, because it is important to keep in mind that not always when the ingredients are here for a derecho does that tend to happen every time. It's just that potential for wind and damaging straight line winds tonight and into the late night hours is there with this particular system. So back to the models we go. I am going to pull up another model that we haven't looked at yet, and let's go ahead and call on this one here. Now this one is, well, the most recent one came out about the noon hour, so let's see how it's doing. With storms firing in south central parts of South Dakota, these are indeed taking place down here as we look down towards Mitchell, but it's not showing much of an event transpiring here in southeast North Dakota and parts of Minnesota. So this model really not starting out very good, and it has most of the activity. Do you see this big cluster of thunderstorms it's taking on this backward C shape? That could be, it looks like a derecho, but not all of them are. to be defined as a derecho, this thing would have to go hundreds of miles. And from eastern parts of South Dakota all the way into Wisconsin there, that would be a derecho if that evolves. But this model not starting out so good. So let's go ahead and take a look at another model here and CBA if we can find one that matches what we're seeing right now. And if we do find one, this one looks good. Okay, although it's not handling the stuff down in South Dakota as well, this one shows what's going on here. This started and this is spot on. Now, this could be a backwards C shape. That could be a very windy line of thunderstorms. Whether or not it meets the derecho criteria, we'll leave up to the National Weather Service office. But it does look like the potential from St. Cloud, Duluth, I-35 corridor, all the way through parts of southern Minnesota tonight. As we back this up just a little bit, you'll see, boom, right here, this thing gets its backwards shape. That's called a bow echo, kind of like a bow and arrow, okay? That backwards C shape would indicate that the gusty straight line winds will be a problem. Now, just by the look of these, we can get an idea that these winds here will be blowing out of the west-northwest. These winds here could be blowing with a little bit more of a northerly component or out of the northwest, heading right toward the I-90 corridor in southern Minnesota. So these models do give us an idea of what you might need to prepare for as we go through. Nate, good to have you on, watching from LF. What about the storm in my area? So I appreciate that. Let me know what you mean by LF. I'm sorry, I've got a lot of LFs around here. Like, let's go see heavy rain and lots of cloud to ground in Alexandria. Thanks so much, Jana, for your input as well. Kim, thanks for watching from Trail County, or Trail, excuse me. And Cheryl, also watching from Natiwash and near the Natiwash area. So that's what we have going on as we take a look at this model again. Again, the greatest risk for some nasty windy thunderstorms appears to me to be right in here as we go into southern portions of Minnesota, eastern Minnesota, and into Wisconsin as we go through the overnight hours. So that's where the threat will be tonight, and that is a quick update on that. Now, I'm going to work on Little Falls. Thanks, Nate. Let's get you out to Little Falls. I appreciate that. Let's just make sure that we're looking in the right spot. There we go. So you can see as I switch this over to the radar that we do have some storms out to your west. Now, this is the kind of radar you might see on a weather app, or it might be a radar that you might see on some of the television stations. I like to look at what's called single site radar data. This is a little bit more smooth than this is great for giving you the first look idea. But as a meteorologist, I like to look at the grainy stuff here. So Little Falls, long ways away from any radar, but let's switch over to the radar out here in Chanhassen and out in the Minneapolis area. It might be a little bit more close. Now, what's moving into Little Falls right now is not severe. You are in the watch, though. So as we take a look at these storms now, this Glenwood storm looks to be pretty strong to me. With regards to the reflectivities, we're seeing this blue flashing color here, some fantastic high. Wow, Mike, thank you very much. I'm humbled by your support of stars here on Hutch's Weather on my Facebook page. I do appreciate all of you helping Hutch take next steps, and that's what we'll continue to do right here on Hutch's Weather. So we do have this backward C shape with these particular storms. Now let's see what kind of wind velocities the radar's measuring with the storm right now. Where we see the brightest colors, that would be motion towards Minneapolis. But you got to keep in mind that this is way up high in the sky with these clouds. So as we take a look, let me go to this. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at this radio measurement tool so we can give you an idea of just how far away from the radar we're looking and how high it is up in the sky. These wind measurements are coming from around 12,500 feet above the ground. So well over 2 miles, almost 2.5 miles above the ground out there. So keep that in mind. But these are some healthy wind speeds that we have going on up here of 60 miles per hour or better. So we do have some outflow from these storms that's moving its way from northwest to southeast toward the Glenwood area. That's pretty strong. Also, if we take a look down here south of Morris, there's some reds next to the greens, and that would indicate some spin or shear. But to take a closer look at that, we're going to compare it to the speed of the storm itself and see if it's still there. Indeed, along this backward C shape, we have a couple of pockets where there could be some shear taking place, including south of Morris with red moving away from the thunderstorm and the greens moving towards. So essentially, moving away from Minneapolis here in red and towards here would have this being a Well, that's a clockwise circulation. Now, circulations can be clockwise when it comes to tornadoes, but it's not as common as a counterclockwise one. So keep that in mind. There's a little bit of shear or spin showing up in these storms as they're working their way through, but there's not a tornado watch because the spin is, well, it's a little bit more great down in portions of South Dakota. Now, as we take a look at the risks tonight, let me show you this. This is from the Storm Prediction Center, and this shows this moderate risk. It is a level 4 on a 5-level scale. So this is serious business. That means the powder keg is loaded. We could have some terrible strong concerns tonight. The Storm Prediction Center has upgraded this forecast just a little bit ago. We'll go ahead and take a look at what that is. Now, this is the probability for a tornado. And you see in the greens, that's about a 2% risk of a tornado within 25 miles of any point on there. This did include Sisseton, but if you go down towards Marshall, Montevideo, where the storms are strong and bowing, there is a 5% risk of a tornado. Now, that's not too significant as far as, well, we're not going to see one of these multi-storm outbreaks out here the way it's looking right now. The better chance of tornadoes would be now. And that's what's going on down a little farther to the south as we go down towards Mitchell and down along the Nebraska border there for tonight. Here is a look at the probability for hail, and this is significant hail. And it's right here in our living room, eastern South Dakota, I-29 corridor, Watertown to Montevideo and Marshall. There could be very large hail, and there has been 3.5 inch diameter hail reported in these areas. Gerald says, anything coming towards Fargo? Sorry, just got here. Gerald, we are in the clear here in the FM area with all the storms off to the east of us. Thank you very much, Mike, for helping me answer that, because it does look like the risk has moved off. Now let's look at that wind risk. This is the main threat tonight. And this you've heard the term derecho. Do you see this area in yellow here? This is a significant risk of gusty straight line damaging winds in excess of 75 miles per hour tonight. It does not mean all of these communities will see those winds. It's going to be in isolated locations. But if we do get that derecho set up where these storms organize and become a massive windstorm, we could have quite a number of places getting damage. Now, the winds will most likely be from the northwest or west-northwest tonight as we go through. Keep that in mind. So make sure that you're not parking under trees. And if you're camping, make sure you know where there's some place where you can go to seek shelter. Trees can fall on campsites, can fall on things like your campers. So again, keep that in mind. And if storms move into your area in southern Minnesota, including the I-94 corridor here, all the way from where the storms are right now in parts near Douglas County and the Alexandria area into the Twin Cities. So all of these areas have that great chance of seeing some gusty straight line winds. That is a quick look at the weather scenario right now. Nice evening and 76 in Cullum. Here's a look at temperatures elsewhere across the area. And here's a look at the risk of severe weather tomorrow as we look out into parts of eastern Wyoming, right into parts of central, well, most of Nebraska. This is a slight risk of severe weather. So everywhere from, say, Kearney and all the way up towards Scotts Bluff, Nebraska, right into Omaha, Nebraska, that's where the risk will be. Where you see the green in the Minot area and the oil patch of North Dakota, that is called, well, that's called a marginal risk. That means 1 or 2 storms may flirt with severe criteria, but it's not going to be a rule out there, that, and it doesn't usually turn into be a widespread event in a situation like that. So that is a look at your Tuesday risk of severe weather. So for this night, I'll keep you posted right here. I'm back in the saddle again. The risk is mainly moving off out to the east as we take a look at that radar once again. We have strong thunderstorms and severe thunderstorms in parts of west central Minnesota right now, eastern South Dakota, and into Nebraska right now, right along the border here as we cross the James River Valley and head on into that Missouri River Valley and through that into Nebraska. So stout thunderstorms, a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings. This is the one we need to be watching here, this cluster of storms from the Osakis area through Morris, Benson, Madison. If this gets going, we could see an organized wind event taking place in parts of southern Minnesota tonight. I will keep you posted. If you're in Montana, you got some real gully washers out here, some hail producers as well. And where we see these blue icons here near Harlowtown and out towards the Lewistown area, thunderstorm wind damage has been reported 7 miles southeast of Moore. We also have a 63 mile per hour wind gust that was measured 2 miles southwest of Garneal out there in Montana. So that's what's going on there. Helena picking up some rain, and it's much needed out in western North Dakota. That is a look at your weather. I'll be back here in just a little bit. But remember, we do have severe thunderstorm watches in place. We have an air quality alert in place, and I'll have updates and all your forecast videos coming up here in a bit. But for now, if storms approach your area and you're in eastern South Dakota or anywhere from central and southern portions of Minnesota, stay informed tonight as storms move through your area. I am meteorologist Hutch Johnson, thanking you for your trust and weather coverage. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Until next time, stay tuned and please